Most people believe intelligence is about knowledge, facts, education, credentials. That belief is the first weakness you must shed. Intelligence, in the Machiavellian sense, is not what you know. It is how effectively you see through illusions and how calmly you exploit them. The dangerously smart do not think louder or faster than others. They think colder. They understand something most never will. Human beings are not guided by truth, but by perception, fear, and self-preservation. And once you see that clearly, you can no longer unsee it. You have been conditioned to believe that being good will protect you, that honesty earns respect, that transparency builds trust. These ideas feel comforting because they remove responsibility. They allow you to remain predictable, safe, manageable. But Machiavelli understood a darker reality. Society rewards those who appear virtuous, not those who are. Appearance is currency, reality is negotiable, and power belongs to those who know the difference. Look around you. Watch how people behave when status is threatened, when resources feel scarce, when attention shifts away from them. Their morals bend instantly, their principles evaporate. This is not corruption, it is biology. Humans evolved in hierarchies where survival depended on position. Those at the top ate first, reproduced first, and lived longer. Those at the bottom learned obedience or disappeared. That wiring still controls behavior today, no matter how civilized the language becomes. You are not interacting with rational minds. You are dealing with nervous systems, scanning for dominance and safety. Every conversation is a silent negotiation of rank. Every smile is measured. Every gesture is weighed. The dangerously smart understand this without resentment. They do not complain about the game. They learn the rules others refuse to acknowledge. One of the first ruthless lessons is this: people do not respond to who you are. They respond to what you represent. If you represent comfort, you are used. If you represent uncertainty, you are feared. If you represent authority, you are obeyed. Your inner qualities are irrelevant unless they are translated into visible signals, and visible signals are controllable. This is why silence unnerves people more than aggression. Noise is readable. Silence forces projection. When you speak less, others fill the gap with their own fears and assumptions. They reveal themselves while you remain concealed. This asymmetry is power. The predator does not announce intent. It watches, it waits, it moves only when the outcome is already decided. You have been told that explaining yourself is strength. It is not. Explanation places you beneath the judgment of others. It invites evaluation. Defense is submission disguised as logic. The dangerously smart do not rush to be understood. They allow misunderstanding to work in their favor. Confusion destabilizes hierarchy. Clarity stabilizes it. Ask yourself who benefits when you are fully understood and who benefits when you are not. Machiavelli warned that those who seek to be loved over feared will always lose to those who understand fear's reliability. Love is conditional, emotional, volatile. Fear is consistent, predictable, rooted in consequence. This does not mean becoming cruel or loud. The most effective fear is subtle. It is the awareness that crossing you carries cost, even if that cost is never displayed. Observe how quickly people test boundaries when they sense weakness. They interrupt more. They take liberties. They demand explanations. Weakness invites invasion. Strength requires no announcement. It is felt in posture, timing, restraint. The lion does not prove itself to the hyenas. It simply does not move when they laugh. Another lesson emerges here, one few are prepared to accept. Morality is a luxury of the secure. When survival, status, or power are at stake, morality becomes a tool, not a compass. Those who cling to rigid moral identities are easily manipulated by those who understand flexibility. This does not mean abandoning values. It means never mistaking values for protection. You are being watched more than you realize, not in a paranoid sense, but in a social one. People catalog your reactions, your emotional leaks, your limits. They are not malicious, they are human, and humans are opportunistic by nature. The dangerously smart do not resent this, they account for it. They manage perception like territory. If this unsettles you, it should. Comfort is the enemy of clarity. What you are hearing is not meant to reassure, it is meant to sharpen. Because once you understand how power actually moves, quietly, indirectly, without apology, you begin to see how exposed most people truly are. And once you see that, the real question becomes unavoidable. Will you remain visible, predictable, and easy to read, or will you learn to move differently? Once you accept that power is psychological before it is physical, your entire relationship with people changes. You stop asking how to be liked and start asking how influence is actually installed in the mind. Machiavelli understood that control does not come from force alone. Force is expensive. It draws resistance. True dominance is efficient. It causes others to police themselves on your behalf. Here is the uncomfortable truth most people never confront. The human mind seeks hierarchy the way the body seeks gravity. When structure is absent, people unconsciously create it. Someone leads, someone follows, someone submits while pretending they are choosing freely. If you do not position yourself deliberately, you will be positioned by default, and the default position is almost never favorable. People respect what they cannot easily access. Availability erodes value. Predictability dissolves authority. The dangerously smart regulate their presence the way others regulate money, carefully, strategically, with restraint. They understand that scarcity amplifies perceived worth, whether it is time, attention, or approval. When you are always reachable, always agreeable, always explainable, you become mentally cheap. This is why emotional control is not a virtue, it is a weapon. Emotional reactions signal leverage points. Anger reveals pride. Defensiveness reveals insecurity. Eagerness reveals dependence. Every uncontrolled reaction teaches others exactly how to move you. The disciplined mind gives nothing away. It becomes unreadable, and unreadability forces others into hesitation, which is the birthplace of advantage. Machiavelli observed that people are more loyal to outcomes than intentions. They will betray kind leaders who fail them and follow harsh leaders who deliver results. This is not cynicism, it is realism. Survival instinct does not care about your heart, it cares about effectiveness. If your presence improves someone's position, they will rationalize your methods. If it threatens their comfort, they will condemn your character. Understand this deeply. Reputation is not built by truth, it is built by repetition. Say something often enough, or allow others to say it for you often enough, and it becomes real. Most people spend their lives reacting to narratives instead of shaping them. The dangerously smart let others spread stories while they remain strategically silent. Silence creates mystery. Mystery invites myth. Myth breeds authority. Another ruthless lesson emerges here. Control is easiest when it feels voluntary. The moment someone believes they are choosing you, resistance collapses. This is why indirect influence outperforms direct command. You do not push, you frame. You present two options that both benefit you. You let others walk themselves into alignment while believing it was their idea. Notice how effective leaders rarely argue. Arguments flatten hierarchy. They place both sides on equal ground. The dangerously smart avoid debates unless victory is guaranteed. They state conclusions calmly and allow others to orbit around them. Certainty is magnetic. Hesitation repels. People follow confidence even when it is wrong, and abandon correctness when it feels weak. Fear plays a role here, but not the crude fear of punishment. The deeper fear is exclusion. Humans are social predators. To be cast out is to be vulnerable. When you control access to opportunity, validation, belonging, you control behavior without raising your voice. People adjust themselves around you. They soften, they comply, not because you demanded it, but because their instincts told them to. This is why Machiavelli warned against transparency. Transparency removes leverage. When everyone knows your thoughts, your limits, your intentions, they can plan around you. The opaque individual cannot be anticipated, and what cannot be anticipated cannot be easily controlled. Weak people crave fairness. Strong people understand balance. Fairness assumes equal positions. Balance recognizes reality. When you treat unequal players equally, you empower the less capable and restrain the more capable. The dangerously smart do not waste energy correcting this. They exploit it quietly, while others argue morality. At some point, you may feel resistance rising within you, a desire to reject what you are hearing. That resistance is your old identity fighting for survival, the identity that wants to be seen as good, harmless, decent. Understand this. Harmlessness is not virtue, it is lack of power. And lack of power invites domination. This knowledge sharpens you, but it also isolates you. Once you see how people operate beneath their words, you can no longer participate innocently. You begin to notice patterns others miss, tests disguised as jokes, insults masked as concern, compliance disguised as politeness, and you realize the game has been running the entire time. The question is no longer whether power exists, it is whether you will remain unconscious inside it or learn to move above it.
As your awareness sharpens, another truth becomes unavoidable. Most people are not living consciously. They are running scripts, social habits, emotional reflexes passed down, rewarded, reinforced. The dangerously smart see this and stop arguing with behavior. They study it. Because once you understand the script, you can predict the outcome, and prediction is a form of control. Humans are creatures of comfort, pretending to be creatures of principle. They will defend ideas loudly until those ideas threaten their position. Then they will abandon them quietly. This is why appealing to logic alone rarely works. Logic does not move people. Incentives do, threats do, rewards do. The mind follows whatever reduces internal discomfort fastest. Machiavelli understood that power belongs to those who can detach. Detachment is not apathy. It is clarity without emotional fog. When you detach, you stop needing people to validate your self-image. And the moment you no longer need validation, you become dangerous. Neediness is the most exploitable human trait. It leaks through tone, posture, timing. Those who sense it will press until they get what they want. Observe how quickly people respect boundaries that are enforced once, and how relentlessly they violate boundaries that are negotiated repeatedly. Each time you explain why you deserve respect, you teach others that respect is optional. The dangerously smart set boundaries without justification. They do not overreact. They do not dramatize. They simply withdraw access. and withdrawal is one of the most powerful conditioning tools in existence. Conditioning governs far more of human behavior than morality ever will. Reward behavior you want, remove reward from behavior you don't. Over time, people adjust without conscious awareness. This is how systems control populations. This is how leaders shape culture. And this is how you shape your immediate environment without force. Another ruthless lesson surfaces here. People believe confidence is loud. It is not. Loudness is compensation. True confidence is stillness. It does not rush. It does not chase. It does not fill silence. Stillness communicates that you are not dependent on the outcome, and the one who needs the outcome less controls the interaction. You have been taught to seek consensus, agreement, harmony. These are tools of the group, not of the individual. Groups survive by smoothing differences. Individuals rise by exploiting them. The dangerously smart understand when to blend in and when to stand apart. They use conformity as camouflage, not as identity. Pay attention to how quickly people reveal contempt for those who sacrifice themselves for the group. Martyrdom is praised publicly and punished privately. Those who give too much without leverage are resented, not respected. Power flows to those who can withhold, not those who endlessly provide. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers to avoid being despised above all else. Hatred can be managed, fear can be leveraged, but contempt dissolves authority entirely. Contempt arises when strength is absent and pretension remains, when words are not backed by consequence, when boundaries collapse under pressure. The predator-prey dynamic is not about violence, it is about awareness. The prey scans for threats but cannot imagine being the threat. The predator scans for weakness and moves without hesitation. Most people unconsciously advertise their weaknesses through over-disclosure. They tell you what they fear, what they want, what they lack. They believe vulnerability earns trust. In reality, it earns attention, and attention is not always benevolent. This does not mean becoming cruel or paranoid. It means becoming selective, strategic. You do not reveal everything you feel. You reveal what serves your position. You keep the rest private, not out of shame, but out of discipline. Privacy is not secrecy, it is sovereignty. As you adopt this mindset, you may notice a shift in how others respond. Some will pull away. They benefited from your transparency. Others will lean in, sensing strength. This is a natural sorting process. Power always reveals who was there for access and who was there for alignment. At this stage, many retreat. They feel the weight of isolation and choose comfort over clarity. They return to old patterns, old identities, old explanations. But if you continue, something irreversible happens. You stop being reactive. You stop being pulled into other people's emotional gravity. You become an anchor, and anchors change the tide around them.
As you stabilize into this new position, a subtler shift occurs. You begin to sense the invisible currents beneath every interaction. Who was posturing? Who was probing? Who was afraid to lose face? Power announces itself long before it acts, and weakness begs to be tested. The dangerously smart no longer take words at face value. They listen for motive, timing, what is not being said. Most people believe dominance is asserted. It is not. It is conceded. Others decide how much power you have based on how consistently you make them adjust their tone, their pace, their expectations. Each adjustment is a quiet admission that you matter, that your reaction carries weight. This is why those who rush to accommodate lose status without realizing it. They teach others that their comfort is negotiable. Machiavelli warned against generosity without calculation, not because generosity is wrong, but because unearned generosity confuses hierarchy. When you give freely to those who have not demonstrated value or loyalty, you flatten the social order, and flattened orders breed disrespect. The dangerously smart give selectively.
They reward alignment, not need. This trains others to move closer to your standards rather than pulling you down to theirs. Notice how quickly people grow resentful of leaders who explain too much. Explanation invites evaluation. Evaluation invites challenge. Challenge erodes authority. Strong figures speak in conclusions, not justifications. They allow others to interpret, rationalize, and align on their own. The human mind prefers to defend conclusions it arrived at independently, even if those conclusions were guided. Another lesson emerges here, one that separates tacticians from amateurs. Power is not maintained by winning every encounter. It is maintained by controlling escalation. You do not react to every provocation. You choose the moments that teach the clearest lesson. Inconsistent reactions confuse others. Consistent restraint, followed by decisive action, conditions them. This is where fear becomes refined, not fear of you personally, but fear of uncertainty. People become cautious around those whose responses are unpredictable, yet proportional. They cannot game you, they cannot bait you, they cannot rely on patterns, and what cannot be patterned cannot be exploited. Most individuals live in a constant state of emotional leakage. Their faces betray them, their voices tighten, their urgency spikes. The dangerously smart master delay. Delay before responding, delay before agreeing, delay before revealing intent. Delay creates asymmetry. While others rush to relieve discomfort, you allow it to work in your favor. You may notice something unsettling at this stage. People will begin to test you less openly and more subtly. Passive resistance, backhanded compliments, strategic delays. This is a sign of progress. Direct confrontation is what people use when they believe they can win. Indirect tactics emerge when they are unsure. Uncertainty is respect's shadow. Machiavelli understood that stability does not come from constant control, but from the belief that control is possible at any time. You do not need to dominate constantly, you only need demonstrate that you can. Once that belief is installed, most people regulate themselves. This is why reputation matters more than action. A single decisive moment, handled without emotion and without apology, echoes longer than 100 explanations. People remember how you made them feel when they crossed a line. They remember the cost, and memory governs future behavior. At this level, you must guard against a common weakness, arrogance. Arrogance signals overconfidence. Overconfidence invites coalitions. The dangerously smart remain understated. They let others underestimate them. Underestimation creates opportunity. Visibility creates resistance. You are no longer operating within the emotional economy of approval. You are operating within the strategic economy of leverage. This changes how you listen, how you speak, how you wait. Waiting becomes an action. Silence becomes a statement. Restraint becomes threat. By now, it should be clear that this path is not for everyone. It strips away comforting illusions. It replaces moral narratives with structural realities. It demands discipline over expression, control over catharsis. Those who cannot bear this weight retreat into noise and justification. But those who continue reach a different tier entirely, a tier where influence is quiet, where authority is felt before it is named, where you are no longer reacting to the world, but positioning it. And once you reach that tier, the final lesson reveals itself. By the time you reach this point, you understand something most never will. Power is not accumulated, it is permitted. People allow you influence when your presence reorganizes their internal order, when they feel sharper around you, smaller around you, more careful. The final ruthless lesson Machiavelli implied but never stated plainly is this: the highest form of dominance is becoming a reference point. A reference point does not chase attention. Others orient themselves around it. They measure decisions against it. They anticipate its response before acting. This is why truly powerful figures rarely speak the most. Their silence carries context. Their absence creates vacuum, and vacuum pulls behavior toward it. Most people spend their lives trying to prove value.
Proving is a low-status behavior. It assumes doubt. The dangerously smart assume position. They do not ask to be taken seriously. They behave as if they already are. And human psychology, ever eager to reduce uncertainty, follows suit. At this level, manipulation becomes unnecessary. Systems do the work for you. People self-correct. They filter themselves. Only those aligned with your standards remain close. Others drift away, often blaming circumstance rather than acknowledging hierarchy. This is ideal. Open conflict wastes energy. Silent sorting preserves it. Machiavelli understood that rulers fall not because they are feared, but because they are misunderstood. They misjudge human nature. They believe loyalty is permanent, that gratitude lasts, that past service buys future obedience. These are comforting myths. Loyalty expires the moment incentives change. Gratitude fades faster than resentment. Past service is remembered only when it is useful. The dangerously smart do not depend on memory. They maintain relevance. They remain necessary, not through force, but through positioning. They place themselves at crossroads, decision points, moments where others must pass through them to advance. This creates dependency without desperation. Another illusion dissolves here. You realize that being respected and being liked rarely coexist at scale. One invites familiarity, the other enforces distance. Distance preserves authority, familiarity erodes it. This does not mean becoming cold or cruel. It means choosing when warmth is strategic and when it is costly. At this stage, you must also recognize the danger of exposure. Speaking these truths openly attracts two types of people, those seeking power and those threatened by it. The first group listens quietly, the second attacks loudly. This is why elite knowledge has always been transmitted indirectly, through implication, through tone, through selective access. You now understand why the masses are fed simplified narratives, good versus evil, right versus wrong. These binaries keep people manageable. They prevent nuanced thinking. Nuance creates independent actors. Independent actors disrupt systems. The dangerously smart operate in nuance, while others argue absolutes. There is a price for this clarity. You will no longer fit neatly into conversations built on emotional validation. You will notice manipulation instantly. You will see when praise is transactional and outrage is performative. This awareness can make interaction feel thinner, but it also makes it honest. Power does not make you happier, it makes you freer. Free from reacting, free from explaining, free from needing approval to act. And freedom in a controlled world is the rarest advantage of all. The final inversion is this. Once you stop seeking power for its own sake, it accumulates naturally. Because you are no longer broadcasting hunger, you are broadcasting stability. Hunger repels, stability attracts. People trust what does not need them. This is the inner circle Machiavelli hinted at, not a group you join, but a state you enter, where you move quietly, where you choose battles sparingly, where you are underestimated until it is too late to correct the mistake. If you are still here, still listening, then you already know this was not entertainment, it was filtration. Most will never hear these lessons clearly, fewer will apply them, and almost none will sustain them. This channel exists for those who choose clarity over comfort, control over chaos, and dominance over delusion. If you belong to that minority, you already know what to do next.